Check. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the War Room. This one is for this weekend's heavyweight clash between Derrick Lewis and Curtis Blaydes. Okay, I'll quickly run through the UFC stats page, but honestly, this is much more about game plan and approach than anything else. Everything else is kind of negated. I mean, it points towards how people fight, but we kind of know what we're expecting in this one. So Curtis Blaydes on one side, considerably less experience, 14-2 and 1 no contest. 24-7 with 1 no contest for Derrick Lewis. Slightly less fight time for Derrick Lewis. He's an inch shorter. He's got an inch less in reach, but when you throw into connect like he does, you can make up for that additional reach disadvantage. As far as takedowns and striking goes, it stacks up exactly as you would expect. So it's quite clear what Derrick Lewis needs to do in this one. He's not going to grapple with Curtis Blaydes. That would be foolish. We're probably not going to see him try any kind of submissions and stuff. But what Derrick Lewis is very good at is defending takedowns and then getting back to his feet once he's been taken down. You know, there are lots of examples of Derrick Lewis with someone like Gonzaga on his back just standing up. Just, whatever, you're not going to slow me down. I think Roy Nelson was another one as well. He just stands up with people on him. And although there is a risk to that if you're fighting someone like a slick submission guy that might be able to clamp something onto you as you're getting up, that's a risk. But against a wrestler like Curtis Blaydes, whose main focus is to hold you down to hit you, creating scrambles to get back up is very, very valuable. Now, there is a taxation on your cardiovascular system, which is the other thing that Derrick Lewis has got to be cautious of. But he does fairly good with cardio, especially over 3 rounds where he can kind of push somebody around. When he starts defending takedowns, he can fight on his own pace. Then it gets really interesting. For Curtis Blaydes, again, the game plan's quite straightforward. Don't get hit, and if you can spend as much time in the top position as you can, then do. Other things for Curtis Blaydes to consider, though. The thing with Derrick Lewis, for as dangerous as he is when he lands, he's not very good at hiding when he's hurt when someone else lands. So if I'm Curtis Blaydes, I'm thinking low kicks will slow him down. He doesn't have the technical ability to block low kicks, so the only thing that's coming back in that scenario is a counter punch. So Curtis Blaydes staying on the outside and throwing low kicks, he only really has one thing to worry about, which is the counter punching. Body shots are a huge value against Derrick Lewis, and if you're Curtis Blaydes, you can put him on the floor and you can be hit into the body as well as the head in ground and pound. I also think it'd be worth working the body up against the fence if he's in the clinch as well, because we have seen Derrick Lewis hurt to the body, and that would be a target I'd be using if I was Curtis Blaydes. And then the last one, kind of what he did to Overeem, to be honest, make a mess of him, open him up, cut him. If you're Curtis Blaydes, you're thinking about one of my favorite Teddy Atlas phrases. You're putting water in the basement, money in the bank for later rounds. You're chipping away at him, but you're doing damage that accumulates. So low kicks, body shots, cuts, things that are going to affect Derrick Lewis as the fight goes into 25 minutes. Because if you're Curtis Blaydes, you kind of want to fight for a 25-minute fight, or you want to aim to fight for 25 minutes. If you're in there trying to get it done too quickly, you're playing into Derrick Lewis's hands because he has got thunderous punching. And, if he is under pressure, his fighting instinct comes out. And like I said, he's got great takedown defense. We saw that in the Olenek fight. We saw it in the Latifi fight. He's coming off two fights where guys that either want him on the floor or their main background is wrestling, so that's the way their game plan's going. Olenek did not want to stand and trade with Derrick Lewis. Couldn't get him to the floor, though. Same thing with Ilia Latifi. Stepping up to heavyweight, you would expect him to be the shorter fighter, to be able to get under Derrick Lewis and upset his balance and, attack single legs and stuff. He couldn't do it. Derrick Lewis, he's very agile. He's very flexible. He's got great takedown defense. He's got an instinct for staying on his feet and fighting. So it's not going to be as easy as people may think for Curtis Blaydes to keep him down and hold him down. The other thing with Derrick Lewis, which is going to be something Curtis Blaydes has to keep in mind, are the unpredictables when it comes to leg attacks. Flying knees from the big man is always a surprise when I see it, even though I know he does it, as well as head kicks. Curtis Blaydes is coming into this one as the wrestler. He's going to be working behind a jab. He's going to be chopping into that low kick. He's from one of those teams that really work that low kick, the calf kick, and make it valuable to them. What is he? He's in Colorado, isn't he? He's got that Colorado. So he's going to be pushing a pace hard. He knows that that's a weapon against Derrick Lewis. He also knows that if he can slow his legs down with calf kicks, that's going to be money in the bank. Body shots is water in the basement. Cutting the guy. Again, you're doing things that over the distance are going to be valuable, but also have an impact psychologically. And we've seen Lewis cowering up against the fence, holding his stomach. We've seen him uncomfortable in certain circumstances. We've also seen him outpointed for nearly 15 minutes and then will land one punch. So there's at no point can Curtis Blaydes take his eye off the ball in this one, because he will end up getting knocked out by Derrick Lewis if he doesn't take him seriously. Oftentimes people can look at Derrick Lewis and underestimate him because he's not the tidiest, the most technically proficient or well-rounded fighter. But if you look at the physical attributes that he's got, as well as his tenacity when it comes to fighting, he's an emotional guy, but that's part of the reason why we like him. The downside to that is if he gets hurt, you can see he's hurt. And if he's not enjoying the fight, you can see he's not enjoying the fight. But at the same time, you also know that if you push him back too much, he's going to crack you with something, and that could happen at any point in the fight. Just going back to UFC stats, Curtis Blaydes' takedown average per 15 minutes is nearly 7. So you extend that over 25 minutes, and you're looking at sort of 10, 12 takedowns over 25 minutes. There is a point where Derrick Lewis will stop making an effort to get up. There's a point where Derrick Lewis gets the Daniel Cormier treatment and he's just too tired. He can't keep getting back to his feet over and over again. And I think that's the place where Curtis Blaydes needs to get him. I think if they're on their feet, he needs to be wily and cautious and working those low kicks and jabbing the body to feint that level change. But he wants this fight on the floor. At the very least, he wants it in the clinch. But I would say even then, Derrick Lewis is rather dangerous. For Lewis, it's distance. It's keeping it at distance, but then punishing everything that Curtis Blaydes does. And he's going to have to use a few flying knees in this one just to discourage the level change. He's definitely going to have to defend some takedowns or probably get back to his feet. He might have to weather a couple of rough rounds in this one as well if he's going to get the win. But we've seen him do that before as well. So this is a very, very interesting fight and a big one for the heavyweight division. Curtis Blaydes is in a very, very strong position. And Derrick Lewis, he's just there. I mean, a 3-fight win streak, Ivanov, Latifi, and Olenek, 3 dangerous guys. Blaydes on the other side on a 4-fight win streak, Willis, Abdurakhimov, Santos, and then Volkov. And the Volkov win looks better every time we see it as well. I think Curtis Blaydes is the biggest problem in this division right now, especially given the fact that the skill set that he's got and the size. I mean, he's coming in at the top end 265. If he can deal with the power and the athleticism of Derrick Lewis, then that kind of puts him in good stead for maybe getting an Ngannou rematch if he gets the belt, or a few other fights at the very top of the tree where you're looking at big punches that could potentially defend takedowns and knock you out. We've seen Curtis Blaydes overcome that a couple of times now since the Ngannou losses, but they're still going to be lingering in the back of his mind. Derrick Lewis could very much be one of those kind of fighters for him, especially because he's so difficult to take down and so agile for a big man. But the game plans are clear. Blaydes needs to come out, chip away at his legs, work his body, and then if he gets him on the ground, when he gets him on the ground, try and open him up with elbows. Make it messy and invest in the later rounds. For Derrick Lewis, conserve that cardio as much as you can. Be it less explosive if possible when you try and get back to your feet. And this is where technical ability comes into play. You can save some cardio with technical ability. That will run out. But, be cautious of the way he's using his cardiovascular system. Remember, he's got that big power for the full 25 minutes and not be too much of a rush to apply it. The most important thing is making Curtis Blaydes uncomfortable and making him feel like he can't get the fight grounded, in which case Lewis can start to let a few more of those nuclear warhead fists fly and maybe catch the finish. Great fight. Interesting one for the heavyweight division. Enjoy. See you next time.